I think my most popular video to date so far hasn't been anything to do with my drawing or studio vlogs or anything like that. It's been the one I did on sublimation. So today's video, I thought maybe it would be interesting to do a little what you would need if you wanted to start your own sublimation business or just get your own products, artwork, etc. onto products for you to use in your home. Although I have to say, if that was all you were going to do, it would be quite an expensive way of going about it. So I would really only recommend sublimating if you were looking at turning it into like a small business so that you could cover back the costs of all the materials you would need to do so. So yeah, this is going to be an introduction into sublimation for any of you that are interested. So what is sublimation? For those of you that don't even know or have never even heard the word, what is it? Well, it is a process by which you can transfer your images, your artwork, etc. from a printed out sheet onto a substrate, a product. You use heat to transfer the ink from the print onto the product, and in the heating process that ink becomes a gas which is sort of embedded into the fibre of the product you're sublimating onto. So that's what sublimation actually is. Well, firstly, you would need a dedicated sublimation printer. Now, you can get printers that are solely made for this process. So you can see you're looking at about £349 for one of those. You can buy different printers which you convert yourself into sublimation printers by using the correct ink, and that's what I did. I've got this printer here which is an Epson ET7750, and although it came with Epson ink, I bought specific sublimation ink. This is an eco tank. So I just simply filled the tanks up with the special ink, and then I was good to go, and the process for that was very, very easy. I've just tried to find one to show you online, but it seems been replaced by a newer model. So if I show you that. An eco tank, which I assume is the newer model of the one I've got. But don't quote me on that. Anyway, you're looking at about a price of £269. So cheaper than the dedicated printers. And they do a perfect job. That's what you need. You need, first of all, a printer and the sublimation inks. And then you need the correct paper to print on, which is also a special paper. I use a company called S-Race. Again, you can get many different types of paper, but it's a paper that's got a special coating on it, which takes the ink in, but it keeps the ink, I believe, on the very top layer of the paper. So when you then press the product, the ink is transferred, turning into a gas, as I said before. And it's just a white sheet of paper with a special coating on it. So you print your images onto it and then tape them onto your product, and away you go. So you need your printer, you need your ink, you need your paper. You then need a heat press. Obviously, if the process is going to take place through the heating process, you need something to do that. And you need a product that's going to get to high temperatures, so you can't use an iron, for example. I have a heat press, and I don't actually know what model I've got. Again, I've had this for about 4 years now, and there's nowhere on it. There's just got probably on the back of it, but I can't, because of where my heat press is placed, I can't get to the back of it to see what the little code is. But there's many types of heat presses you can get. Again, it's quite a substantial purchase, but it is something that you do need if you are going to do this yourself. I will see if I can find here on Amazon for £139. It's not the one I use, and as with everything, the heat presses, you can get different types, all vary in prices, vary in sizes. If you wanted to, for example, make larger products, you'd need to have a larger, for example, if I was going to do a cushion cover, I'd need to print an A3 piece of paper for that, and I'd need a heat press that can fit that to print the image. So the sizes will vary. Obviously, some makes will better quality than others. You can get different type. You can get ones that just pull straight down, which is what I've got. You can get swivel ones where the top swivel, you can bring it in and take it away. I think mine's called a clamshell, and that suits me because I don't need so much space in order. Obviously, if I was swinging the lid away all the time, I'd need that extra space. But I'll show you the one I've got. It's my heat press there. It fits in my corner. Obviously, this just comes straight down, clicks into place, and then comes back up again. There's a screen over here, displays the temperature and the settings for the timings. So that's my heat press, and yeah, it's been brilliant. I've not had any issues with it at all. The only thing is it came with like a cover on the actual press, and that's sort of disintegrated now. It's been used that many times, but I just put sheets of plain white copy paper down on the top before I put my product on, and that seems to work fine. So yeah, no worries there. So printer, ink, paper, the heat press. So the heat press probably cost me about £400–500. So already we're looking at about £1,000 worth of cost before I've even printed a product. So hence, if you were just going to do this for things in your home, it would be a very expensive way of doing things. Then you need the products themselves, and again, there's different websites. I'll try and show you one with many different products that you can buy. You can print onto cups, various cups there. You can print onto wallets, phones, or phone cases rather, water bottles, there's the phone cases, tote bags. You can even print onto teddy bears, their little t-shirts. You can print onto clocks, coasters, all sorts of things. So yeah, you can certainly make a business by sublimating. There's a lot of blanks, well, we call them blanks. There's a lot of products you can buy to transfer your images onto. It's just making the choices is the hard part. So I'll show you some of the things that I have printed onto myself that I sell. I've got my coasters. So as you can see, when you print them, the colours do come out very vibrant. It's really nice, and it's a real joy to see the first time you do it. I print onto my placemats. I have printed onto cushion covers. Try and get you're in front of a window, so yeah, cushion covers. Then we go small. I can print onto little key rings. And I've printed onto a tea towel before now. So that's like a microfiber tea towel, and another placemat. So you can print onto all sorts of things, which is, you know, pretty exciting. If you buy your products from a site like I've just shown you, they do tend to give you a guide as to what temperature you should press that product at and for how many seconds. Now, a lot of mine average between 185 degrees and 205, and between 65 seconds of pressing anywhere up to about 180 seconds. And then you just also have to be aware of the pressure that's applied. So for something like the key ring, it's actually just a thin little rectangular piece of aluminium that I'm pressing onto, which then sticks onto the key ring. So this is the bit that gets pressed, and then after it's pressed, it gets pushed onto the key ring itself. So for that, it's a very thin piece of metal. So obviously the pressure, I increased the pressure quite a lot compared to something like the coaster because of the thickness, the difference in thickness. That's that. What else can I tell you? When you're printing, because of the fact that the print turns into a gas, some of that can escape. So I always put down a couple of sheets of paper onto the base, and as you can see, there's some of the escaped ink. So I always put that down, then I put my product on facing up with the print on top, and then I always put a piece of butcher paper. I find the butcher paper just makes the quality of the print much better. I think it just stops where the gas is escaping. It keeps it, I don't know if it just keeps it so it's from escaping and more into the product. I don't know the science behind that, but it does make a difference. And then I put my heat proof sheet on top again before I then bring the shell down and press it. So that's really, I think, all you need. Your printer, your inks, your special paper, your heat press, the product itself, and then your piece of butcher paper, your heat sheet. Oh, and special heat tape. So this is a heat tape, which when I've got my print, so let's say I've got a print and I need to put that onto the coaster, line it all up, and then it would be lined up as such, and then I'd attach this paper to this coaster with a piece of heat proof tape, which isn't going to melt under the temperatures that we are pressing at. So I think that's about everything. Yeah, setup costs, you're looking at a good £1,000, well, I would say on average about £1,000. If you was going to do a mug, which I happen to have here, if you wanted to sublimate mugs, you do need another piece of equipment. You cannot do these on the heat press. You actually need to have a mug press. I will show you what that looks like because I have one of those. So you just pop you've got your image on your cup again, you pop the product in place and then you clamp it down, and that has to be done for about 180 seconds at the correct temperature, and then you have your cup. So yeah, you do need a separate piece of equipment if you're, oh look how dusty that is. Yes, you do need a separate piece of equipment if you're going to do the mugs. Even the tumblers, I can't do the tumblers in that one. That is just a mug machine, a mug press. Yeah, so let's say you don't want to do mugs, you just want to do all the other products I showed you to begin with. So you're looking at roughly about £1,000, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less, depending, you know, which machines you go for. But once you've done that, if you're an artist that does your own images, or if you're not and you use Canva or whatever other people use, you've then got yourself a business all ready to go. All you've then got to do is start printing your products and putting them online and selling them. So as far as setting up a small business goes, £1,000 isn't really too much money. So yeah, if it's something that you are thinking of doing yourself, then although it is an investment, it could end up being a really good one for you. It's really easy to buy everything, you know, you're so excited to get going, you buy hundreds of blank coasters, hundreds of blank placemats, and before you know it, your costs have spiraled. So yeah, just start small, get your stuff out there and just see how it goes. And who knows, you could end up with a really thriving business from an initial outlay of £1,000, bit more, bit less, depending, like I say, on what products you choose to go with and what machines you choose to get. But yeah, so that's just a little introduction into what you would need if you wanted to start sublimating at home yourself, and I hope that helps. Oh, the one thing I didn't mention, a heat-proof glove, because when you go to take your products off the heat press, they are obviously very, very hot. Well worth investing in one of these. So yeah, hopefully that helps somebody out there. Any questions, do ask. I'm not an expert by any means, but I might be able to help, who knows. So yes, that's it for this week. Just a quick video on how to sublimate, if that's something you are in, or what you would need rather. If you want to know how it actually works, I did do a video where I was sublimating placemats for an order I had recently, and I will try and leave a link at the end of this video to that video if it is of interest to you. But yeah, good luck if it's something you are thinking of doing yourself, and yeah, I hope it goes really well for you. All right, until next time, over and out. See you soon. Take care. Bye.